Guys, deluded. Obviously, we just lost to Chelsea 3 goals to 2 in it. I've reviewed the game, or at this point, I'm actually watching it upload on my Mac, so it'll probably be out by the time I finish this video. But obviously, like, I've obviously touched on many things, but I've got some additional thoughts, and specifically to Unai Emery. Am I saying he's not a master tactician and all of these things? No, I'm not judging his whole time at Arsenal based on these games, the 2 games he's played. Nor am I making conclusions or ranting or critiquing him unfairly. But just based on this game, if next week, cool, we'll change it. But just based on this game and slightly Chelsea, home and away now, I think it's fair. It's not fair, but you've played twice now at the top 6, so I think it's fair to question a few things. Obviously, you got it wrong against City. You got it wrong against City. Ultimately, yeah, we pressed we pressed high well, and there was a couple of other things. But if from my point of view, like somebody said in the comments, actually, too many chefs spoiled the soup or whatever he said. Good on you, whoever said that. What I mean by that is you had Ramsey, Mkhitaryan, Ozil. They're all good players. But different games require different stuff. For me, as an Arsenal fan, I've seen us time after time after time go into games on this, and I wouldn't call it fearless because you guys know what I mean by that, but this, alright, cool, let's disregard what this team can threaten us by, and let's just focus on us and how we can contribute going forward and all the typical things that are with Arsenal. So I would like to see us be a bit more Jose Mourinho-ish, because I don't know any other way of putting it. What I mean by that is Jose has his own criticisms, and I'm not pretending to know Man United more than them and things like that. What I mean by is Jose typically has made a career specifically, I swear people, he'll, especially big games, he'll go into big games, he'll do things like have a player, like you've seen him do with Phil Jones, ironically, at United, specifically man mark an individual or set up a particular way to not allow certain things. I haven't really seen that at Arsenal. What I saw in these 2 games, what I saw today is Ozil marking, trying to get on Jorginho. I get it, but that's not his strengths. That's not his mindset. He's not going to do that. Mkhitaryan on the flanks, first half appalling. Yeah, he got a goal and assist. Great game from him on that logic, but he was guilty of, he did track for the goal, we conceded the first one, but he was guilty of old habits, going inside too much. Because naturally, it's not even a criticism, he's a creative midfielder, he wants to go on the ball, he's frustrated on the flanks. He does that, but now you're leaving Bellerin exposed, and we don't really have intelligent midfielders to protect him like that. I'm seeing these sort of things. Xhaka and Guendouzi, how you going to say his name? I don't feel they were particularly poor, but by the same logic, Xhaka was kind of woeful. But they weren't really helped. Like, that's why I don't really want to critique both of them, because they were kind of outnumbered by them Chelsea men, especially when you saw Luiz come into midfield basically on the ball. Rudiger stepped up. They were playing their own high line, and you saw what Pedro and William were doing. So for me, just on the basis of some of the personnel selected this week and last week, on the basis of the approach, you kind of need to fix up for me. Like, again, you don't have to do 5 at the back, and everyone's a genius in hindsight, as I'm displaying right now. But 5 at the back on the basis of, let's take the goal that we conceded, the first one. Ironically, I can't blame Mkhitaryan and Bellerin, because Bellerin went to go and engage. One criticism should be Mkhitaryan should do that, but that's reaching. My only criticism can be Bellerin engaged, so Mkhitaryan saw the run and actually followed his man and things like that, and tried with Alonso. The goal actually comes from Socrates losing out from a header from Morata. I think he's got a lot of stick, but stuff like that goes under people's heads a lot of the time. Mkhitaryan's gone with him. Mkhitaryan going the other way where he's supposed to go is not one of the quickest. Alonso's quick, but he's not that quick, but he's quicker than Mkhitaryan, so he's going to leave him. And then it just becomes a case of Alonso getting his head up. I told you this would be a problem going into the game. Again, Unai Emery forgets more about football than I'll ever know about football. But if I told you this, if I told you the high line, if I told you watch out for Dave's pass, where fair enough it wasn't exactly over the top, but it sprang our offside trap and it caught our high line off guard. If I can see these things, then surely a man who's praised for having all these VHSs and all these tapes of all these things should know this. Mustafi, I don't feel Mustafi necessarily had a bad game, but you should have done better for Morata's goal. And I haven't read the reports, but there's a lot of things floating around online in that you kind of sneak this Wenger in the sense that you finally know what to improve. And I mean, come on now, if you watch Deluded, my thing, I would have told you exactly what to improve. You keep bloody diving in, but it's not about him. Why I mentioned that incident again before I went off topic, but why I mentioned that incident with Bellerin going in and Mkhitaryan not being able to stop him is because, again, hindsight makes you a genius. But if it's Liechtenstein and Bellerin on the basis of, okay, you can see Pedro and William, they're going to try and do cute 1-2s with their midfield men. They're going to double up against Arsenal. They're going to do all of these sort of things. If we have Liechtenstein and Bellerin, in Liechtenstein either at 3 at the back, or you can play him as a you can play him on the flanks, but make him tuck in a bit and be another right back. On the basis that if that happens, that same goal that we conceded firstly, I honestly think Liechtenstein would be behind a couple yards versus when you saw where's the tactics board, man? 1 second, guys, man, because this is another excuse to use it. 1 sec, people, please, just bear with me, innit? Make a back four, so paint a picture for you lot. Alright, first example here, people. More or less, give or take. Obviously, I'm a bit off in it. I'm a bit off. He's gone in it. I mean, no, it's more or less he was bare, yeah, it was here. This is what happened, yeah. Obviously, the ball was in play. Bellerin lost it, or not even Bellerin lost it, sorry. Bellerin went to engage, yeah. Mkhitaryan's caught slightly here, but Mkhitaryan can see that he's got the ball. He can see Alonso's gone. I told you this in the preview. You can see, I can watch him. He saw that run. He tried, didn't it? He tried to keep up with him. He tried, but he's gone. He's gone already. Like, he tried. He's gone. Ball's in the box. It's 1-0, sorry, at this point. Why I say this now is because if that's Bellerin and Liechtenstein, you'd think at first either it'd be a case of Bellerin can be here, Liechtenstein can engage. Bellerin's now dropped off a couple yards, so if that ball is now played in, him versus Alonso could be a bit better 1v1. Even though I did think Bellerin should have got a bit tighter and stopped the crosses. Do you see what I'm saying? Or disregard this, man. Let's just say the run's made. The run's gonna be made. Liechtenstein might be naturally, because his defender dropped off a couple yards, allowing Bellerin to just sit in. Or even if Bellerin's caught up there, and doing his thing like you saw, he's naturally dropped off a couple yards because of his defensive mind versus Mkhitaryan. Okay, I need to get back now. Boom. Do you see what I'm saying, people? And then it could have been a case of a midfielder tucking in. It's this sort of approach in big games, because if we're honest with ourselves, people, yeah, Arsenal like to play pretty little Wenger ball and stuff like that, but against the top six, the result is all that matters. Yeah, we'd love to batter all these teams playing Wenger ball and stuff like that, same way City would like to be doing their thing. Obviously, Liverpool are up for top 6 games and stuff like that, and they don't really change their approach. But I'm sure if you ask Liverpool fans who know their club more than me, or ask Jurgen Klopp, where you see, or you got access to see things you might not necessarily see, you'll see a difference between how they set up against top 6 sides, difference between how they might set up against Arsenal and against Liverpool and whatnot. Of course, we set up differently today, but it's just, I'm seeing the same sort of things, and it's the same sort of players letting us down. You can't, for me, it's going to take a while. I'm not saying to draw conclusions, people, and things like that, but it's the silly mistakes, it's the clearing with no conviction, it's as much self-error as it is more than anything. Like, it's again, I wouldn't even say it's frustrating, because at this point, we know what to expect with Arsenal. People say I'm a pessimistic Arsenal fan, I'm this, I'm that, and the other. I'm pessimistic on transfers for obvious reasons. I didn't think Aubameyang would come here, but can you blame me, people? But I'm pessimistic because I know what's required to get to that level, and I know we're lacking it. It's going to take time. It's not Unai Emery, and again, I'm not saying to sack him and any of these things. I'm just critiquing him based on purely on these 2 games. I'm not drawing any conclusions going into other games, but come on, you can judge a man. I'm sure most of you are logical. You can judge a man what he's done based on 90 minutes and see how we move forward. Because defensively, these players, again, I'm not even critiquing Unai, I'm not critiquing the players with this, but their natural instincts, they're getting caught in midfield, they're going tight, and then it's just the fact that I can see, I do not get paid a penny to make these vids. You don't know more about football than me. I have access to way more data than I'll possibly ever come across in my life. Yeah, I'm telling you this, and it's like naivety not to accept this. It's like, and I'm tired of the inferior complex at Arsenal as well. We stood off them way too much for me. We really stood off them. I would have preferred to lose that game if we went out there, it was a partisan game in a typical Arsenal thing where we tried to go for a shootout and we lost. By some logic, that was the game, but we're respecting them too much. You know what Sarri wants to do as a manager. You know they're playing Jorginho. Right, Barkley's not exactly as hard, but his strengths are more technically based than the power man thing in midfield. Kante's improved on a midfield basis. So, like, it's these little things. For me as well, the play, it's not even at Unai's fault, because this is one thing I have a lot of patience with, because it's going to take time. The players have no aware of the runners behind them. People are getting, as a defender, you have to have your man goal side. He has to be goal side at all times, whichever angle you want to look at it. People are getting behind. There was one that actually happened to Socrates, and he made a good recovery challenge with Morata. They were hanging on our last shoulders. They were, oh man, they're just certain little things that make the difference. And until we get that, it's top 6, might even be 7th. And we're in the relegation zone right now, but it is what it is. Guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out.